Unsolicited commercial communication, or UCC, commonly known as spam calls and messages, has a significant negative impact on individuals and society. The consequences include financial loss, reduced productivity, psychological distress, and erosion of trust in communication systems. Now, other than privacy invasion, time consumption, stress and frustration, many spam calls and messages that are used for phishing and fraudulent activities may lead to financial losses, identity theft, or exposure to malware. Now, therefore, the role of the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, or TRAI, and the Department of Telecommunications, DOT, is imperative in protecting telecom consumers' interests while availing telecom services. On this special broadcast, we will dwell on the functions and responsibilities of the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India and the Department of Telecommunications. We will look at how spams affect a common man, including the initiatives to stop the menace of spam. Well, to give us insights on how to curb spam, UCC, and the protection from cyber frauds, I am joined by two gentlemen. Please allow me to introduce to you Ashim Datta, who is the Joint Advisor, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, Regional Office in Kolkata. I also have with me Raj Mohan Meena, who is the Director, Department of Telecommunications, Northeast Licensed Service Area. I welcome both of you gentlemen to the broadcast. My first question to you is, Mr. Datta, when we talk about TRAI, I want you to tell us a little bit about its functions in the first place and the responsibilities.
Right. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India is a statutory body. It was formed by an Act of Parliament in the year 1997. So TRAI basically is an independent authority to regulate the telecom sector. Now the function, as far as the functions are concerned, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, two types of functions are there. One is recommendatory, that means it sends recommendations to Department of Telecom on the subjects where the recommendations are sought for from Department of Telecom. And secondly, regulatory in nature. So like say quality of service that the consumers get, how to ensure that quality of service, or how to protect the rights of the consumers. So in those aspects, TRAI issues regulations. So in all, there is one is recommendatory. So licensing terms and condition, how the auction is to be done in regard to spectrum. So in all those subjects, TRAI sends recommendation to the DOT, and ultimately it is prerogative of the DOT to accept the recommendation and implement it. And secondly, in terms of quality of service and consumers' interest protection, TRAI issues regulation and implements it and enforces it.
All right, fair enough. Mr. Meena, I want to bring you in because what's the difference, and you've touched a little bit on DOT as well, but I want to hear it from you. Tell us a little bit about the Department of Telecommunications.
Yeah, thank you. The Department of Telecommunications under Ministry of Communication is a policy making and licensing authority for all telecommunication services in India. DOT formulates policy, also manages spectrum, and DOT also runs all the programs like connecting the unconnected villages in country. It also promotes digital inclusiveness in our country, and DOT also launched some initiatives like Sanchar Sati to reduce these cyber frauds in the country, to also awareing citizens how to reduce these cyber frauds in the country. So to keep citizens aware and keep them safe in this digital environment. Mm-hmm. So that's the role of the DOT.
So, Mr. Datta, you were mentioning earlier that TRAI's role is to ensure quality of telecom services for its users. How does TRAI do all of that?
Yes. Now, for example, we have right now 120 crore of telecom users and around 100 crore broadband users. That means internet users.
Correct.
So as a consumer, we have some expectation. For example, when we are making calls, the call should not be dropped or blocked in between. So these are a part of quality. call drop, your BTS should not be down for more than some hours. So TRAI has made certain regulations in terms of quality of service, and the latest one is of 2024. So there are certain key performance indicator parameters, we call it KPI, in terms of telecom network.
Okay.
So say for example, there are 10 parameters, call drop ratio. So out of 100 calls, not more than 2 calls should be dropped. That is the benchmark that the TSPs, in other words telecom service providers, that we have presently 4 telecom service providers, Airtel, BSNL, Reliance Jio and Vodafone. So they have to meet the benchmark.
Right.
So if they fail to meet the benchmark, then there are disincentives for that. So in terms of quality of service regulations, certain benchmarks are prescribed in the regulation itself that the TSPs are to meet, and the TSPs periodically submit their network parameters to the TRAI. At the same time, TRAI has appointed an independent authority to audit their system, whatever TSPs are submitting these parameters. So whether they are submitting it, their system is integrated enough, or their system integrity is compact enough, that is audited by a third-party integration. Besides, TRAI has also appointed an independent authority to conduct drive tests. So they carry tools and they drive along the road in different cities. In Eastern Zone itself, we have conducted more than 20 drive tests in different cities, in fact including Shillong and East Khasi Hills in the month of September. So during drive test, the tools are carried by an independent authority and the network parameters are collected, and then those network parameters are post-processed, and finally these reports are published. So
Okay.
whatever, in one way TSPs are submitting their internal network parameters, at the same time TRAI is conducting an independent drive test, and then these two measurements are correlated. So whether the TSPs are submitting is perfect one, that is also measured by the TRAI appointed independent authority. So in that aspect, the quality of service is ensured. Similarly, other than network parameter, there are some customer related parameters. For example, any customer has to, for any complaint, they have to lodge a complaint. So there must be a customer care number, and if they do not get the proper service from the first instance, then they have to escalate the call to the second level. So those things are already prescribed in the regulations, and TSPs are to meet those regulations.
Wow.
So through these regulations, not only formulation, also implementation and enforcement and monitoring, through this loop, TRAI is ensuring that legitimate quality of service is obtained by the consumers.
So there's a lot of technicality involved, that's for sure. I mean, it's not like a short process, it's lengthy and it's understood. Exactly. I still want to dwell with you here, Mr. Datta, because when you talk about some of the functions of TRAI, you also mentioned to us a little bit about protecting the consumers, because they are obviously, they are the king, you know. So the consumer's interest has to be at the forefront. How does TRAI do that?
Exactly. So TRAI has already framed 2 regulations. One is consumer complaint redressal regulation, in which this 2-tier mechanism that I was talking about, that is consumer grievance redressal mechanism. So there is a 2-tier system.
Right.
In the first tier itself, there is a common number 198 for all the TSPs. Irrespective of the TSP, there is a common call number 198. So any consumer of any service provider can lodge a complaint if he or she doesn't get the desired level of service. He can make a complaint in 198, and subsequently there is an appellate authority, and in the appellate authority, one of the member is TRAI empaneled advisory group. For example, there are certain NGOs which are registered by TRAI, empaneled by TRAI, which are the extended arms of TRAI.
Okay.
So these one representative from this NGO will be part of the appellate authority, that when the complaints are received from the consumers, in the first level itself, if it is not disposed of, in the second level, means at the appellate authority level, one representative from this empaneled consumer organization is also there. So basically, one representative from TRAI is there to look after those consumer issues. Secondly, we conduct certain consumer awareness programs to make consumer aware. As you already started the program with saying that cyber frauds, in particularly financial frauds, are very rampant nowadays.
Yeah.
So how ultimately the consumer should be aware. whatever mechanism and technology are there, that is there, but still the fraudsters are also deploying certain new technologies.
Correct.
So ultimately consumer should be aware. So in that aspect, TRAI conducts so many consumer outreach programs physically. Also TRAI has developed certain jingles and television commercials that they broadcast through national television and regional television, and as this program is going on. So these are the ways TRAI is reaching to the consumers to make them aware.
Okay. So you know what, as we speak, I think a lot of people have experienced, spam calls and spam messages. I mean, we can't, I don't think anybody has not experienced all of that. So in your own words, how would you define spam calls and spam messages? Let me hear it from Mr. Meena, then I'll come to you.
Yes, yeah. These spam calls and unsolicited communications are basically these are messages received on the individual's mobile numbers without their consent. They are not having consent. They may be of any types, like they may receive that from fraudsters doing some in the name of the banks and then properties and some hospitals, and they may also fraud their relatives. They may send their these messages to their relatives. They send some links on these messages to click, so that when they click, some frauds may happen with them. So these are the messages as not as per the consent of the customers. So that's why these are may not be required by the customers. So DOT and TRAI both are trying to stop these spam calls and messages through various initiatives, like DOT has launched Sanchar Sati app. There is Chakshu portal, Chakshu facility is there, so that citizen can report any such communications, fraud communications and suspected fraud communications and spam calls also.
Mr. Datta, do you want to add something?
To supplement it, spams basically, as he said, it is any call or message received without your consent. Now we have, as I told, 120 crore of customers.
Right.
So any business entity would always like to reach to the consumer, and this is one of the best medium to directly reach to the consumers. So it is their legitimate expectation, so they should reach to the consumer. So any call, any promotional call from any business entity to the consumer, for example, any educational institute or any bank wants to reach to the consumer. So this is a legitimate way of reaching. But I have the right to receive such call or not to receive such call. So if I do not want to receive such call, then it is a spam for me. But if I want to receive such calls, then it is not a spam. So without consent, any call or message, it can be any form, even email also. So this is a spam.
So how does it affect all of us as human beings, common man, because that's the whole reason of doing this program? How does it affect the common man?
Yeah, as you started with saying this, this is a lot of wastage of your time and your energy, focus. These are all obviously important, and it creates frustration, annoyance. But the most important thing and the most risky one is fraud calls. Not all spams are fraud. Fraud calls means through spam calls or messages, if someone wants to take your private information, personal information, or if it can lead to some financial loss or something, then it is a fraud call or fraud messages. So annoyance, frustration, you will leave that. We can actually accept that to some extent. But any financial fraud or any other cyber fraud, bullying or any other fraud, those are more riskier and dangerous.
So what does TRAI do then to control all these spam calls and messages? Because at the end of the day, there has to be some mechanism, there has to be a way to regulate all of these issues. How does TRAI do that?
Yes, as I said, that business entity must reach to the consumer, and the consumer has the right to receive or not to receive. So TRAI has framed a regulation called TCCC-PR. It's a complicated name, Telecom Commercial Communication Consumer Protection Regulation. So under that regulation, any consumer can actually give his preference to receive calls of certain entity. And he can select a particular time slot to receive. For example, I am free on Sunday.
That's interesting.
And I am interested in, say, getting some financial related information or credit loan related information, or maybe real estate or something. So there is an option through SMS, through voice call, or through app also, I can give my preferences. On Sunday in the afternoon I am free, so from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock I want to receive promotional calls from, say, real estate industry.
Okay.
So I can give preferences like that. So accordingly, only those calls, those registered entities which belong to the real estate sector, those calls I will be receiving on that particular day and that time slot. But the thing is, it is not so easy. For example, there is a particular number series 140. So for business entities, means legitimate business entities who want to make a promotional call, they have been assigned a separate number series starting with 140. And similarly for SMSs also, they have been given certain header. For example, if a header starts with AMC-SBI CRD, that means it is coming from SBI credit card department. So it is a legitimate message. But the consumer actually do not want to receive, because already 22 crores consumers registered with the preferences. We call it DND, do not disturb preferences. So if 22 crore consumers do not want to receive such calls, how the business entity will reach? So they take an other way, so which is not legitimate. So what they are doing, they are bypassing this system and they are making calls through their personal mobile numbers. For example, any business entity, they have 10 employees. So 10 employees with their personal mobile number, they are trying to reach to the consumer, which is not legitimate and it's basically illegal. They are bypassing this TCCC-PR system.
Okay.
TCCC-PR system is a standard system in which there are business entities who will be reaching to the consumer, and a telecom service provider and telemarketing company will facilitate this.
Right.
I am a business entity, I will approach a telemarketer, he will do the needful on behalf of me, and ultimately I will make a call to reach to the consumer with the help of telemarketer and telecom service providers. But since the consumers ultimately are not receiving such calls, even the village people also, if some calls come from 140 cities, they immediately call it as a company call, and they do not pick up that phone. So ultimately what they are doing, they are using the 10-digit personal mobile number. We call it UTM, unregistered telemarketing call, which is illegal, and using this UTM only, these all fraud activities are going on.
Oh, that's interesting information. Yeah.
So for legitimate registered telemarketer, we call RTM. If there is some fraudulent activities, then there is disincentive for the TSPs also. So very rarely there will be fraudulent activities using registered telemarketer system. All activities, such activities are taking place through UTM, and to protect the consumers from this UTM is a bit difficult, because they are not part of the system.
Right.
So that's why this Sanchar Sathi project of DOT came. We have this DND system. Once we registered with the DND, TRAI has an app called DND 3.0. If you register with the DND app, you can block certain promotional calls. But this unregistered telemarketers call will not be blocked. You can make a complaint against those UTM in the DND system, and there is provision for penalty against those callers, but that is bit tidy, and the Sanchar Sathi project of DOT is more actually useful in that aspect.
Okay, I still want to dwell on it because I want to know how would I lodge a complaint if I get some spam calls or messages, but I'll come to that. But I want to go to Mr. Meena first again. What are some of the initiatives that DOT has taken to stop spam messages and spam calls? Some of the initiatives.
Yes. DOT has launched a Chakshu facility on Sanchar Sathi module, Sanchar Sathi portal. Chakshu was launched in March 2024. This facility is basically empowers citizens to report any suspected fraud communication they received, or you can also say the spam calls they receive. They can immediately report. There is a very easy way to report on this Chakshu portal, Sanchar Sathi, under Sanchar Sathi. They can report any suspected fraud communications they receive on their mobiles. They can also report spam calls through this Chakshu portal. So this information of this received on this Sanchar Sati on Chakshu portal, Department of Telecommunication developed a program that analyze all these calls, and there is a database collected all the complaints, and on the real time basis this information is being shared with all the stakeholders like banks, law enforcement agencies, also TSPs, and TSPs are directed to re-verify these numbers which are doing fraud communications to citizens, and they get time of 15 days to re-verify these mobile numbers, and if they failed in re-verification they immediately disconnect these mobile connections. And also one more initiative launched by Department of Telecommunication, financial fraud risk indicator for these fraud mobile numbers. So this under this FRI, this grade is given to all these suspected mobile numbers, like a number is given to these, like this is high risk mobile number, this is medium risk mobile number, this is low risk mobile number, and all data is available to all the banks so that they can know that this mobile number is doing frauds with so many numbers, and this number is based on the information received from all the stakeholders, like NCRP portal is also there. If someone has lost money in this cyber frauds through cyber fraud, then he can report on National Cybercrime Portal NCRP, or they can also call 1930. So based on the information received from all the stakeholders, a grading is given to these numbers, which can be visible to all the stakeholders. So based on that, many banks has declined payment related to these fraud mobile numbers. Also they alert their customers that this number is involved in the the financial frauds. So you can recheck whether you really want to make payments with this number or not.
Okay.
So this is a very powerful tool for banks also, and or LEAs also, they can take actions against these number. We send these numbers to TSPs for re-verification, they disconnect these mobile numbers involved in the fraudulent activities. So Chakshu is a very powerful tool to report any suspected fraud communication and spam calls received on citizens' mobile numbers.
Fair enough. So, Mr. Datta, like I was mentioning, how can I lodge a complaint? How can a telecom subscriber log a complaint against UCC?
First of all, you all please download the app called TRAI DND 3.0. There are other modes actually, SMS or call, but nowadays everybody is using smartphone, so using app will be better. So download it, and it's a very simple use. So any calls which is you think it is unwanted call, you can lodge there itself. If it is an SMS, then the app itself will read the SMS and the message also. So you need only to just press 1 or 2 buttons and lodge a complaint. For calls, you need to give the content of the call. What kind of fraud messages was it conveying? So you type it. It was just like, for example, it was offering some credit card or something, or it was offering some fake investment something. So you just put up the content there and submit it. The thing is, if it is an UTM call, unregistered telemarketer, then if there are 5 complaints within the last 10 days, then action is taken. When investigation is started against that number by the concerned telecom service provider, whose number it is. So initially during investigation itself, the number is barred for 15 days. Ultimately, after investigation, if it is found, if it is established that an UTM call was really made, then that number can be barred or blocked for 1 year. So severe punishment provision is there. So unless people complain, because as I said, there is a provision, you have to 5 number of different complaints should be there within last 10 days against that number. So many users actually are intelligent enough, they know it is a UTM call, so they just block it initially in their phone itself. They block it, or even if they pick up, then they just cut the phone after some instances. So I would request that you may be intelligent, but there are some consumers who are gullible, not very intelligent. So to help them, you must lodge complaint. If you suspect that this is a communication which is not wanted and it can make fraud calls, so you must lodge the complaint. And the secondary measure, you should lodge a complaint in the Sanchar Sati portal also.
So Does TRAI then collaborate with other departments, let's say, to curb this menace?
Yeah, TRAI is already is part of regulator called Joint Committee of Regulators, where RBI,
Okay.
Security and Exchange Board of India, SEBI are part of it. So a new number series 1600 that has been, after this discussion with the joint regulators, this number series has been dedicated for service related calls. As you know, previously there was only one number series 140 for promotional call as well as service related. Service means, for example, I have taken a service from I have bought a particular refrigerator, a particular brand. So I will be receiving some warranty information, service information from them through SMS, through calls also. So it is a service related message and service related call. It is not a promotional call. So previously for service or promotional there was single number series. So now 1600, a separate number series has been given for the service related. So the banks can actually use this number for their customer, legitimate customer. For example, I am a customer of SBI. So SBI can actually make a call using 1600, and that call cannot be blocked using DND app. Through DND app you can block promotional calls, but service and transactional related calls and messages sent by government. For example, some weather forecasting is there and Indian Meteorological Department wants to send some messages, alarm messages to the citizens. So even if you register with the DND app to block all promotional calls, these kind of calls will be received because these are not part of promotional calls.
True.
So service and government messages and transactional messages. When you are making an online transfer, certain money transfer, you receive OTP. So this is an example of transactional message. You cannot block that because this is imperative. So in that way, TRAI in collaboration with others developing new forms to fight against this menace.
So Mr. Meena, I'll come to you again because you've mentioned Chakshu, right? So that's one of the facility. Are there any other tools that the DOT has come up to help consumers?
Yes. We have already discussed about Chakshu. I want to mention one more thing, that based on the complaint received from the citizens on Chakshu portal, DOT has disconnected a large number of mobile connections who are involved in fraudulent activities. Apart from Chakshu, our Sanchar Sathi portal have various other initiatives also, like TAFCOP is there, Telecom Analytics for Fraud Management and Consumer Protection. What is this TAFCOP? TAFCOP is basically, by using TAFCOP, citizen can know how many mobile connections or SIMs are taken in by using his documents.
Right.
So if he dial his mobile number, one OTP will be received, and all the mobile numbers taken is with his documents, all will be displayed on the screen. So he can see that all the numbers in his name. So he can report that this number is not taken by me, it is taken by someone else. So he can report to disconnect that number.
Okay.
So this is a powerful, TAFCOP is a powerful tool to know mobile connection taken in your name, because nowadays people are using misusing documents of someone, some other persons to take SIM connections. So by using this facility, they can report that this number is not taken by me. So immediately disconnect this number. Apart from TAFCOP, one more powerful facility is on this Sanchar Sathi CEIR, Central Equipment Identity Register. By using this facility, citizen can block their lost and stolen mobiles, and this mobile lost and stolen mobile can also be recovered by using this facility. If someone lost his mobile or his mobile is stolen, he can report on the CEIR portal, portal of this Sanchar Sathi facility. Through this, immediately that IMEI get blocked, so no one can use the stolen mobile. If someone inserts SIM in that mobile, then a notification will be generated that this particular person has using this mobile by this mobile number and with this address. So police is also all the state police district wise also onboarded on this CIR. So an alert will be generated that this stolen mobile used by this particular number. Right. So police is all knowing all address and details of that using this number. So they can call and to that person that you are using this stolen mobile, please return it to real customer. So by using CIR facility, as of today, more than 7 lakh mobile phones have been recovered in India.
Okay.
And the cost is around more than 1400 of these recovered mobile phones. So the CIR facility is very important. And other than CIR, that requin facility is also there, that receiving international call with Indian numbers. So to these are the also the citizen can also report if they receive
Correct.
some international call, but displaying Indian numbers. These are all means to fraud someone or some other means which are not required by customers. So they can also report this requin facility. And other than that, one can check the genuineness of the mobile handsets by using this Know Your Mobile. By inserting, if you are using some stolen mobile, then this Know Your Mobile facilities to know that this handset is genuine or not.
All right.
So these are the some powerful tools in the hands of the citizens through Sanchar Sathi.
So before I ask my last question to both of you, I want to hear from you, Mr. Meena, quickly, because 21st century now, I mean, people are talking about the hazards of, mobile radiations. Can you just shed some light on it, and then I'll ask my final question and we'll close the program.
People are afraid of these radiations from the mobile towers. So I would like to convey a message that these radiations from the mobile towers are under very safe limit, prescribed by the ICNRP, that International Commission for Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, and WHO also. That is, India is, in fact, India is using 1/10 of this internationally prescribed limit. Means this is 10 times more stringent than other countries are using. So it is very under very safe limit, Indian radiations from the mobile towers in India. And the other thing is that Department of Telecommunication, through its field offices like LSS, licensed service areas, regularly do audit of these towers and measures radiations. And it is found that more than 99% are mobile tower radiations are under the limit. And if any more radiations are emitted from any tower, then there are penalty provisions are there. So in India, these radiations are within the prescribed limits. And further, as of now, there are studies being done by the WHO and other major organization, world organization, and in India also. As of now, there is no conclusive, like we can say that there are no harmful hazards, health hazards of these radiations. No such studies prove these evidences of any health hazards of these radiations. So these are very safe and under the limit only.
Fair enough. So my final question to both of you before we close the program. What can laymen do to save themselves from all these spams and fraud communications? Let's start with you, Mr. Datta, then I'll come to you, Mr. Meena.
First of all, you control your greed and fear, because these are the two emotional, values with which these fraudsters play. So whenever either they will be sending some messages or calls saying that you invest this amount, you will be getting this much of a hefty amount after certain time limit or something. So this is kind of greed, or there are other forms of digital arrest kind of frauds where they actually play with your fear. So you control these two, and you assume any unknown call or messages, you be careful. You verify it through authentic sources. And as we discussed, you immediately download TRAI DND 3.0 app and Sanchar Sathi app. Sanchar Sathi portal is also there, app is also there. And you whatever discussed, you just immediately register there and avail the facilities available in those apps and portals.
Mr. Meena.
Yes, rightly said that this Sanchar Sathi is very powerful tool. We all should download this Sanchar Sathi app, mobile app. This is developed by the Department of Telecommunication. It has all the facilities related to reduce and curb these financial frauds and all the problems related to these cyber frauds. So Sanchar Sati play very important role. And other than that, I would like to say that if anyone receive any fraud message and spam calls, do not click on the suspicious links they shared on these messages, because these are most preferably these are sent to do financial fraud with citizens. And never share OTP with any unknown person who asks on your mobile numbers or through SMS. Never share OTP, and never click on these suspicious links, and always verify any site you are using before proceeding further.
All right, thank you. Well, in addition to the regulatory check through regulations, etc., the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India and the DOT has been undertaking various consumer awareness activities to protect them from falling prey to such fraudulent activities. Now, recognizing the severity of the problem, TRAI and DOT have both implemented regulations and systems to combat UCC. It has further tightened the leash on telecom operators by mandating the use of specific technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, introduce stricter reporting norms, and increase penalties for breach of rules. Now, TRAI's and DOT's actions will make digital communications safer, consent-driven, and transparent. I'd like to thank both of my guests this episode, Ashim Datta for joining me, and of course Mr. Raj Mohan Meena as well. Thank you so much for your time. And I want to thank all our viewers until we meet in our next episode. Goodbye.